Hello there, Commonwealth realm. Ganondorf, the true mastermind behind Hyrule's suffering in both Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom. And now he has an amiibo that I picked up at Nintendo's Kyoto store. Our main villain definitely deserved more, especially in his final monarchs. Ganondorf of Tears of the Kingdom's distant past is different from the past 3D appearances of the King of Evil. For one, he isn't going for the Triforce, but rather fights to claim the Zonai's secret stones. So be sure to leave a like, subscribe and press the notification bell, as that also helps to make this video more visible. The last male Gerudo ruler to date was born in the Gerudo territory of southwestern Hyrule, long after the timeline branches potentially converged. Interestingly enough, his possible former incarnation was a crucial cause behind the split. With that said, by the end of each branch, Ganondorf Ganon is presumed to be dead, apart from the child timeline, where a new Ganondorf rose and turned into Ganon in Four Swords Adventures.
It might have been Demise's everlasting curse that brought him back into the tribe of female warriors as the first male born in 100 years. His first gift was his birthright, royalty, and the power to wage war in the name of his tribe. Much like what was the case with the first Ganondorf in the timeline of who was presumed to be born during the times of the war, Tears of the Kingdom Ganondorf states in the final battle that he missed the time of warfare that was waged across the races of Hyrule. We can assume that he was groomed from childhood to become a warlord who would bring the Gerudo tribe out of the misery of the desert. Ultimately, this effort failed, but until peace settled in Hyrule, many souls left their vessels. That was until Rauru, the last male surface Zonai, put an end to the conflict
and began a unification effort. Eventually, the Rito, Gorons, and the Zora accepted to swear fealty to the first king of this Hyrule, along with his queen, setting the stage for the new kingdom's dominance. Realizing that this new seat of power demanded the loyalty of all of Hyrule's tribes, Ganondorf rallied his Gerudo warriors and Molduga horde, unaware that a time-traveling distant descendant of the royal couple had just arrived with a secret stone. Confident of putting an end to his Zonai Hylian unification nightmare, the Gerudo king set his sight on King Rauru's castle, giving the order to launch the Molduga. The lightly armed soldiers of the plateau stood no match, but their king had a plan. Use his secret stone of light to beam away the horde. Additionally, Queen Sonia laid her hand forward to channel her stone of time, followed by Princess Zelda, who through her stone gifted from Rauru in the distant future, possessed both the power of time but also light, as a different relic most likely resided within her right hand, the Triforce. With a single massive overpowered beam due to Zelda's relics, all Molduga were crushed. Ganondorf was powerless, but caught a glimpse of the source of the light and realized that the only way to challenge the king was with a secret stone of the Zonai. Sadly for the royal couple, the Gerudo king also realized who was the weakest link of the trio. Not the king, definitely not the young girl who Ganondorf had never seen before, but Queen Sonia, the perfect target to steal one of the secret Zonai stones from.
Taking advantage of the thwarted attack, he reached out to King Rauru to meet with him in person. The founder accepted this offer and welcomed Ganondorf as he kneeled down in front of the Secret Stone trio. Accompanying him were two of his most trusted members of the tribe. The Virais Koume and Kotake, in contrast to Ocarina of Time, were young, but both with different color and elemental preferences. Naturally, the Gerudo king had malicious intent to get a closer look at the new female arrival, while also mocking the approaching end of Rauru's bloodline. It was here where he gave his first hint of who would fall first: the queen. Leaving the throne room, he had his plans set. He just had to eavesdrop on Zelda a little more before unleashing a phantom that could get close enough to Sonia. Ganondorf was patient and eventually got the audience he required outside in the evening for his phantom. Still, the queen wasn't stupid, and together with the true time traveler or recaller, prevented the dagger from hitting its target. This forced the Gerudo king to take matters into his own fist, knocking the queen out in one punch as she fell, stealing her secret stone. With Zelda weeping on the floor, Ganondorf saw the time stone transform and enlarge into the stone darkness before placing itself on his crown. Influenced by it, he gained immense power and transformed into the Demon King, not so different from what happened to the first Ganondorf with the complete Triforce in the Downfall timeline. Though he was no boar, his first command was to use his gloom to summon the Blood Moon and the horde of monsters that would destroy Raru's kingdom.
Ultimately, the princess managed to teleport the royals away, allowing the king to bury his queen. Prior to that though, the Demon King jumped on a horse, fitting to his stature, and attacked everyone who stood in his way on the surface, including his own tribe, the Gerudo. His plan had worked perfectly, with the exception of Zelda's Purapad, which allowed King Raru to grant the leaders of the 4 now united tribes the remaining secret stones. Ganondorf knew that it wasn't over, and as a result retreated to Central Hyrule Steppes and waited for King Raru and his sages to confront him. They were no match to him, as this era, much like the one after the Hero of Time had defeated the first Ganondorf in the adult timeline, had no hero when the King of Evil returned. But it had Raru, who launched one last desperate move. With the distraction from the newly appointed sages and Princess Zelda's recall, Raru gained the opening he needed to unleash his third eye and one-punch Ganondorf with his fist. He could knock him out straight away, but sealed him until the era of Princess Zelda. There, Link awaited with the Master Sword. The imprisoning war came to an end. Even frozen in place and with Hyrule Castle built above to keep him sealed, Ganondorf still controlled and produced gloom, which in his hatred slowly built up as malice to create a calamity. Meanwhile, the princess who had both led him and prevented him from staying in power tasked the remaining sages to reach out to the successors, before draconifying to restore the decayed Master Sword that had been recalled to her from Link.
Furious at the betrayal of their king, the Gerudo abolished the monarchy and got rid of any Gerudo male born every 100 years. Ganondorf would be the last to rule, as the Gerudo tribe became an all-female civilization, with female chieftains ruling from Gerudo Town. They became close allies to the Kingdom of Hyrule and its royal family. At least one calamity was launched but repelled thanks to ancient machinery and weaponry, and at least in one instance a hybrid ancient hero with the Master Sword. Though this wasn't his last statement, as he finally got revenge on Princess Zelda and the sages by attacking the divine beasts. He would then murder the descendants of the sages inside the machines, which might have been named after the 4 sages themselves. Even so, Princess Zelda remained a thorn in the Demon King's side, containing the calamity upon awakening her power of light. This would allow Link, after 100 years of sleep, to challenge the imprisoned calamity and, with the help of Princess Zelda, seal it away. Still dehydrated, Ganondorf had a way to attract the victorious duo down to his lair around 5 years after his last calamity had been destroyed. He and Gloom worked perfectly. Link's arm was burnt off and the Master Sword decayed, and with a distraction in the form of past knowledge, Princess Zelda was sent to the past, all while he could fall down to the deepest depths, accomplished to build power and rehydrate.
Despite the Demon King's greatest efforts, the hero survived, while Ganondorf knew Link and Hyrule's weakness: short-haired Princess Zelda. By reviving his puppet, he caused chaos among the tribes of the sages and his own tribe. Plus, he had a new ally beside his Blood Moon summoned monsters, the Yiga clan, replicating his own work, though even better. Link could see through the Yiga, but not really through Ganondorf's distant past Zelda, and fell into his Phantom Ganon trap. It wasn't the last thing Link ever saw, as his friends stood by his side and prepared the hero to locate the Zonai who the Demon King had dealt so swiftly with during the imprisoning war. Time was running out for Ganondorf, as he soaked as much life energy as he could from his gloom and the tree roots in the depths. The problem for him was that Link had defeated his gloom spawns and Phantom Ganon in Korok Forest, and been pointed by the Great Deku Tree to the location of the Master Sword. Upon clearing the Demon King's army with the new sages, Ganondorf witnessed as Link entered his hydration chamber, an unworthy foe who had arrived too late to prevent him from reclaiming his Gerudo King form.
But he was not just aiming for Gerudo, but all of Hyrule, and to rule over it as its next king. Pulling his katana as Link pulled his Master Sword, the duel of power against courage which forced Ganondorf to change his form to the Demon King. He had underestimated Raru's Link and the wretched arm of the king. Bested in combat after teasing the hero, Ganondorf refused to submit and swallowed his stone. The end of Ganondorf and the birth of the Demon Dragon, which snatched the Link between its teeth and set for the Sky Islands. There, the Light Dragon thwarted Ganondorf's last plan once and for all, knocking Link free and then dropping him down, only to then go and pick up from the Demon Dragon's weak points. This was done with the Master Sword Link delivered as what Raru had claimed in his last words while still alive, crushing the stolen stone and causing the destruction of the Gerudo King turned demon who had caused so much suffering. Ganondorf's life was one of born privilege, savage youth, jealousy, brutal invasions, and, luckily for Hyrule, defeated by the hands of divine Zeldas and their heroes.
A life that encapsulated the past Ganondorf, or perhaps even incarnation of this Ganondorf, but who ended up exactly the same way. Destroyed and dead. While his eternal enemies, Raru and Zelda, were reunited with their loved ones. Raru in the afterlife, and Princess Zelda by reuniting with Link in the sky. The Demon King was gone, and especially his own tribe, the Gerudo, rejoiced. Perhaps now, male Gerudo could live, but who knows if a new Ganondorf wouldn't return from a wound in the future. There definitely could have been more to the main villain and puppet master of Tears of the Kingdom and Breath of the Wild, but not counting some deeper motivation and better monologues. This was Ganondorf, and his battles were truly amazing, but his writing deserved a little more depth. Ironic, as he collected his life force to rehydrate through the depths. What do you think of Ganondorf's life and story in Tears of the Kingdom? Sound off in the comment section down below. If you haven't already, then be sure to leave a like, subscribe and press that notification bell. A big thanks to you for watching and to all our patreon.com/commonrealm patrons. You rock, and please enjoy one or both of these two awesome videos.